Good morning. Welcome to the fucking yoga company. My name is Julia. No, not that kind of yoga. Sorry if you're disappointed. Stick around if you like yoga. This is a beginning yoga flow. We're going to run a easy, I'm going to call it an easy energy flow. And with the focus of your healthy alignment. So I might stop with a pose and we might discuss it with a little more, or work it with a little more depth so that you can find your healthy alignment. If you've been here before, you know that the yoga in this brand, this fucking yoga brand, is based on Vinyasa, which is a therapeutic style of yoga with a concentration on your spinal health and your joint and protecting your joints, which I think is a great goal in life. I want you to be doing yoga until you're 100. Both my grandmother and my great grandmother lived. Well, my grandmother. Yeah, anyway. This is beginning yoga with the fucking yoga company. And we are going to start in comfortable seated position, taking a moment, excuse me, to be as comfortable as we can on the mat. A comfortable seated position is whatever that looks like for you. It could be a leg out, it could be a leg in. You could sit with your legs extended, maybe tuck in something underneath your knees to make you feel a little bit more comfortable. This happens to work for me. In this moment, you're gonna, clearly, Colorado is on fire. So is California, but Colorado's on fire and it's very smoky this morning, very smoky. So I apologize if you hear me coughing and snorting because I am recovering from the COVID. I'm a long hauler and the smoke is not treating me very well this week, and today's particularly heavy. That being said, big shout out to people who are doing their part and the firefighters and the first responders. Anyway, you guys are working hard and you have my full-throated, if a little coffee support. I have on my Facebook later, and I will include it in my newsletter. There's a firefighter organization that you can donate to support our first responders. Outside of that, we're all doing what we can. All right. So we're going to pull our attention and awareness from the external to the internal, taking a scan of the body. Where are you feeling some response this week? Hey, exciting news for those of you who've been tuning in. Look, I painted. See, not half yellow. Anyway, I'm getting it done little bit by little bit. It's beating me up, but all right, so let's take a moment. It'll get better, I promise. To pull our attention and awareness from the external to the internal, taking scan of the body. We want to check in and notice, this is where I was going with this. I am very tired and sore from painting. I've been painting every day a little bit and doing some fix-it work. We're listing our house. I don't know if this is a good time to do it, but we're diving in. That being said, so that's what's playing out on my body this morning. All right, we're going to move that attention and awareness into the state and quality of our thinking and check in. Maybe you're not quite up and running yet. That is perfectly okay. Maybe you woke up with a lot of things going on. Maybe your to-do list is chugging first thing this morning, let's move those things off to the side and create a nice, clear, open field of thought for our practice so that we can spend the time here on our mat. We're going to move that silence, that nice open, clear field of thought into the attention of the breath. We're going to notice the state and quality of our intuitive inhale and exhale. So traditionally in yoga, we breathe into and out of our noses. If you are having discomfort doing that, either allergies or a reaction to the smoke, just breathe as comfortably as you can. Now we're going to invite that breath to go a little bit longer and a little bit deeper. We're going to move to balance the length of inhale to the length of exhale. And we want to create a rhythm of breath that we're going to try to maintain throughout the practice. Wherever you are in the length and balance of that breath, let's exhale all the air out of the lungs. I'm going to connect my next inhale to a sweep of the arms toward the ceiling. And releasing my fingertips down to connect to that exhale. We're just going to start warming up. I have people asking me all the time, and maybe I responded to this before, but why do we do very similar warm up each time? We're working through the movement of the spine. So I like to get you guys moving, get the blood going, and kind of create some space and some flexibility in the most important structure of our body. Nice big inhale. We're going to take a lateral extension. So let's take the right fingers down. I'm opening up this space between my ear and my shoulder. I'm going to lift from my ribs. I just want to get a little bit taller and then lean toward that corner where the ceiling meets the wall. And we're going to switch. So we'll inhale and extend and exhale. Same process on this side, keeping that shoulder relaxed and open away from the ear and moving that stretch into the lateral extension of the ribs. We're going to do that one more time in both directions. And now we're going to come up for our inhale and start our first forward fold. So let's trace the fingertips down. This is an excellent place to add the block. I'm going to do that. But we're going to rest the body weight on our elbows. So you can rest them on the knees, the calves, the block, or the floor. I'm going to tuck my chin toward my chest, the bottom of this fold. Wiggle the toes, relax the feet, unclench the teeth. Let's take a few breaths right here. With our next inhale, let's lengthen through those arms, walking the hands back, sweeping up toward the ceiling. We're going to release the palms open, little shrug of the shoulders, soft in the elbows. You're going to hear me say that a lot. We're going to tuck those thumbs back behind us a little bit, bow the chin forward. Releasing fingertips down toward the mat. Let's tuck hands next to hips, palms back, palms facing back. Tucking our chin forward, we're going to take a little slow semicircle movement. So we're going to tilt an ear over to one shoulder and then slowly bow through the articulation of the spine and lean to the other shoulder. So sometimes we hold these for a breath or two, but today we're just going to move. Just going to get the blood going, create some warmth, some energy in the muscles. And help those places where we're feeling a little tension or tightness become more fluid. Someone actually sent me an email and asked me about semicircles. So the reason we only do semicircles is because your cervical spine, which is your neck, right? The vertebra are already subject to compression because of the flexibility and the range of motion we have with our head. Let's take this one more tilt with that last side. And then release chin forward. We're going to slowly stack cervical spine. So your cervical spine runs from the base of your neck, obviously, to the base of your skull. And it is the most vulnerable part of our spinal cord. Your spinal cord, so the big thing about spinal health is compression, right? Compression is our enemy. We're going to change the cross the legs if you happen to be seated in cross-legged position. Take a little rock side to side. When you compress, and I apologize for the crude, let's see, how am I going to do this? Here's my vertebra. And let's say these are my phalanges. My knuckles are my phalanges. You have discs, right? Spinal discs. Are they spinal discs? I can't remember, but there's discs, right? In between, and they're made of gel and fluid they're shock absorbers for our spinal cord. When you compress in one direction or another, those discs are designed, right, to keep the bones from grinding against each other. But because we have such flexibility in our cervical spine and the neck, when we look up, you tend to touch vertebral phalanges. Those are the back ends of the vertebra, which are the individual bones that make up your spinal cord. Not your spinal cord, but your spine, the spinal structure. Let's take a nice big inhale out. If we are just in neutral position with the chin a little tucked and our neck pressed back a little bit, shoulders released, your cervical spine is very long, right? It is in good neutral position. If we look down, we are expanding that space between those phalanges and we're stretching those muscles. If we look up, we are collapsing that space between those vertebral phalange. Let's come on up. We're going to take a cactus squeeze back. Let's just reach on back, little press. And let's take our C curve. So tilt into the hips, bow the chin forward, reach and lengthen the arms and take those shoulder blades away from the spine. Inhaling up. So when you look up, we are collapsing that space. If we look up and turn, we run the risk of crunching, of scraping those phalanges against each other. And in addition, we are compressing our cervical spine. So we want to keep it in neutral or take that stretch because we want to keep those muscles long. On that back side, it's where we keep a lot of tension. Let's do this one more time. Woo, getting a little tingly in my hand. Got some carpal tunnel issues and a radial nerve problem. Inhale. The chassis is showing some wear. Let's trace some fingertips down, taking our forward fold. Little rock side to side if you need to. and release the body weight into the elbows. Let's inhale and lengthen the arms, walking hands back. We'll take a sweep up toward the ceiling. Nice big reach on out, little rock side to side. Shrug those shoulders, soften the elbows. Let's reach back behind the body. So semicircles. So the reason we bow and turn is because you don't have vertebral phalanges on the front of your spinal column. And we have a little bit more room and flexibility in that direction. Plus, let's just face it, we're all feeling stress and tight in our strap muscles and up the back of they're called the erector spinae. These are the little tiny muscles that hold our bodies up vertically. They carry and move our spinal column. So we want to move and get those limber and stretched. And to prevent, the longer they are, the more flexible they are, the more space we have between our vertebra. And then we are creating more health, more room, and better functioning of our spinal column. We're preventing injury, let's put it that way. Releasing the chin forward, let's trace the fingertips around the front of the body and slowly stack our cervical spine. We're gonna move to hands and knees. I'm gonna put my blanket out toward the end. My block out toward the end, but I am gonna cushion my knees with a blanket. Knees and elbows, the only two bony parts of my body. All right, let us put our hands side by side on the mat. We're gonna rest our knees to either sides of those fists. We're gonna keep our hips stacked 90 degrees over our knees, but we're gonna take our hands from 90 degrees out in front of us to a little bit overextended. We're gonna overextend ourselves just a tiny bit. I'm gonna go get my rosin because slippery and slidey on this thing. The reason we move our hands out in front, you're gonna hear a lot of yoga teachers say, stack your shoulders over your wrists. So I'm starting out here. I'm stacking my shoulders over my wrists. What happens here is that I tend to hyperextend elbows, and almost everybody does it. And when we hyperextend our elbows, you shrug your shoulders up toward your ears. So now I'm hanging, first of all, I'm holding my body weight up on my bones, on my joints, which is not what they're designed to do. I'm wonking out the shoulder structure, so I'm taking the power out of my chest and upper back. And in addition, I'm losing my belly as a response to the lift of my shoulders wants to rock forward. So my pelvic tilt creates a compression in my low back. We don't need to compress the low back any more than it already gets during the day. So let's move the heels of the hands out in front of our body, out from under our shoulders, half to a full palm's length. Soften the elbows. That lets you drop the shoulders away from the ears. And then when you do that, you can feel yourself slightly engaged. You're gonna lift up through the core. So you're gonna help support your body weight with the power structure that is designed to do that. And that's the core muscles. All right, let's take an inhale here, nice, long, and flat in the back. Releasing the chin, resting elbows to the mat. Take that sweep back and bow toward the floor. Let's wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, make some fists. We're gonna inhale forward. And let's do that a couple more times. Releasing chin. We place the elbows to the mat first to flatten the upper back so that we can stretch through more effectively the lumbar curve. Wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, make some fists. Inhaling. And let's do that again. Wiggling the fingers, rolling the wrists. Coming on up. We're gonna take an oxen lean. I call this what the fuck. Lean over into a hip and look over your shoulder. And switch. We're letting that body weight press out into the hip. One more time in both directions. We want to stretch the transverse abdominis and the obliques where they insert right over the top of the pelvic cradle. And feel that stretch through the glute med and the piriformis. Let's take an angry cat curl. So we're just going to tuck the tailbone, release the chin. I'm still soft in the elbows. My shoulders are shrugged down away from my ears. And we're going to work through this cat stretch. Now we don't do cow. I don't do cow. Number one, I don't like to be compared to a cow in any way, shape, or form. And number two, if you take this cow pose, look, I'm going to compress my spine. So we want to lengthen the space between the vertebral phalange all the way down the back. Inhaling. Soften the elbows. Let's do that again. I'm arching toward the ceiling. I'm leaning back toward the heels a little bit. One more time. We're going to inhale and take our full Chakravarkasana bow. So let's release the chin. Take the forearms to the mat. I lost my words there for a minute. Lean back a little, rock side to side. Wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, make some fists. Let's inhale forward, soften the elbows. Take our WTF lean. And switch. So I'm having a little attention issue because I'm pretty sure that a white dog was laying on my yoga mat. Not on my yoga mat, on my yoga blanket. So now I'm looking at Finton fur. And one more time. In both directions. We're going to come through our flat back. We're going to take our angry cat tuck. And we're going to do that a couple times. So just release the tailbone, tuck the chin. I'm leaning back toward the heels a little. I've got a soft bend in my elbows. Inhaling, just get flat in the back, right? Nice long stretch. One more time. We're going to curl like the ball. We're going to stay rounded, drop the hips back toward the heels, and now we're going to rock forward to the forearms. Now you can take a little a little extension through the front body. Sorry, I had a momentary lapse of language there. And now we can take that tiny little pelvic tilt because we're taking the weight out of the spine and we're lengthening through the front of the body. And then let's press up, tuck tailbone, tuck chin, lean back toward the heels, keep that lean going. Rock back, rock back, rock back. Let's slide forward to the forearms and really feel that stretch. The shoulders are shrugged down away from the ears. I'm stretching through my front abdominal core. Let's press up. Exhale, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, soften the elbows. Slowly rock back. Ooh, I'm feeling my low back. Feeling it, feeling it, feeling it. And slide forward. Let me tell you, painting a house is hard work. And I'm feeling it all in my low lumbar. Let's press up one more time. Slow, slow, slow. And let's slide forward to the forearms. All right, we're going to take the right leg straight back. So now I'm engaging my core, and I'm going to lift and draw in. We're going to lift and draw in. One more time. Let's lift and draw in. All right, let's release for child's pose. So we're gonna tuck those hips back, take a little rock side to side, release into the fold, wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, make some fists. Inhaling, let's come forward. We're gonna take our WTF lean, push that hip out over the shoulder. You know, this is WTF, like if someone's tailgating you and you look back and you're like, and lean. Note to self, I gotta wash my blanket. Coming through, let's tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin. All right, let's start that lean. Stay round in the low back. Drop toward the mat, then press into the forearms. All right, we're gonna lift and lengthen the left leg. So we just stretch it out the first round. Give it a lift. Bring it on in, tuck and round the back. Inhale, lift. Keep your gaze anchored on the mat. I caught myself looking forward, and that reminded me to cue this tuck of the chin so that we're not compressing that cervical spine. One more time. And bring it down. Let's release. Take a little rock side to side. Take the bow toward the floor. Let's wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, make some fists. And rock ourselves forward. Take a lean. We're going to do one lean in both directions. So we're going to talk a little bit about Firebird, which is where we're kind of tucking, not kind of, it's where we're working. We're working in a Firebird bow. Arch the back, tuck the tailbone, rock back through the heels. And now let's come forward to the forearms. So Firebird, I think it's called Firebird. I call it Firebird. I can't think of the Sanskrit name for it right this minute, but it's an extension. It's and core work at the same time. So we're gonna take the right leg straight out and give it a lift. So in this bow, we're kind of in this left hip, and that's okay. But I want you to draw the core up and in and try to rock up and out of that hip. So rather than leaning and collapsing, so I'm exaggerating this collapse, obviously, I want you to draw the belly up, square the hips, scoop even deeper, and then lift against the work that you're doing in the core to hold the body extended. So this is a lot of weight. You should be feeling a lot of work here. Try to keep the shoulders from shrugging down. Bring that knee in and release. Let's take a little rock side to side. Coming on in to our hands and knees, nice flat back. Let's take an oxen lean. So we take an oxen lean to stretch. We're not really trying to hold the body weight up. We're stretching the hip. We're stretching the glute med, the piriformis. Now let's come forward and take our angry cat tuck. Rock back into that fold. And now let's come forward to the forearms. So we're going to work on the left side, and then I'm going to turn to face the camera so you can see what I want you to be thinking about with your upper body when we're working here. And so I'm going to engage the core. I want you to engage the core and, in fact, exaggerate a little tuck of the tailbone. Big power lift here, almost like a reverse crunch. Lengthen that left leg, and now you're feeling the weight of that leg draw through the energy of the core, and then you lift. So I want you to think about this long line from shoulder to rib to hip to toe. It doesn't have to be really high, right? Just get into that energy. Exaggerate the lift of the core. Bring it on in. So you're going to feel that core activation. Let's rock back and take child's pose. When we work with Firebird, we're going to work all the way from right, this, let's see, this is the bottom rib. 1, 2, 3. The third rib up through the transverse abdominis into the hip flexors, and we want to activate this low belly. So, but at the same time, we don't want to collapse out of our shoulders. So I'm going to turn to face you because I want you to see what can happen with your hips and what can happen with your chest and your shoulders if you collapse out of that. So I'm going to move my blanket forward a little bit so I can get a little, I need like 2 cameras. I need some camera work. I need a director. Okay, let's come into hands and knees. I'm not really comfortable doing this on this blanket, but that's all right. This is a sacrifice I make for my clients. All right, so let's take our oxen lean. So I'm balanced between my knees and I'm gonna lean on out. Big stretch to the side. Inhaling and switching. Coming through center, let's take our big angry cat tuck. So I'm up and out of my shoulders, soften my elbows, tuck the chin, arch the back. We're gonna rock back into the heels. We're gonna press into the forearms and rock forward. So if you look, I'm gonna tuck my chin so that I am not looking up and I'm not sinking. So if you feel like you're sinking here, my shoulders are up by my ears, you're not really doing anything but hanging out on the shoulder girdle, which is not designed to hold your body weight up. It's designed to throw shit. Whether you throw shit at people is another matter. Okay, not literal shit, but you know, stuff. I want you to draw up and away from the mat. And let's relax out of that for a minute. The reason I'm saying draw up and away is because I don't want you to press into the mat with your arms. So the reason we draw up and away, I want you to shrug your shoulders open and down away from the ears. And if you lift your arms up, you can feel the weight of your arms in the chest and the upper ribs and the upper back. If I'm driving my elbows into the mat, see what happens? I'm rolling forward. I'm straining my lats. I can feel that work in my lats, and I'm not holding my body weight up with my core. So I want you to think about extending the core, lift up under the ribs, give me a power engagement of the belly button up toward the spine. And then I want you to think about drawing up and away from the mat from the center of the chest and the center of the belly button, rather than driving your elbows into the mat. So you can see the difference in that, just in that thought process. And the word, like the word makes the action. I'm a writer. That's good. It's true. If you feel like you're driving yourself into the mat, right? All the tension is kind of in the upper lats and into the, you're going to put some pressure on your elbows. We don't want that. I want you to feel lifted. So lift up and lift the body away from the mat with the core. So the difference, right? First of all, this is just resting, just sagging. I have no core lift. If I drive my arms into the mat, see where I'm hollowing out my chest? I still don't have any engagement in my core. I'm rounding the top of my back and I'm feeling that weight in the upper lats. I want you to shrug your shoulders down away from the ears, draw up from the center of the body. And now I've got all of my weight right in my rib cage, right up under my rib cage. I can relax my neck. I mean, yes, you're working your lats and you're working your triceps, but I am more importantly lifting my body weight up, and I've got my weight in the forearms rather than the elbows. So if we take our right leg up, you'll see I kind of rotate up to stay out of my hip, and then I want to square my hips down toward the mat. So now the weight of my leg, the weight of the lever of my leg is right up the center of my lats, not my lats, my obliques. and I'm gonna come down. Let's lift the left leg. Take a little rock side to side. I want you to feel that lift. Rather than feeling this rotation, see if I sag out into my hip, right? I'm gonna strain that hip. I can feel that already. I want you to lift up from the low belly to the chest and bring that down. Woo! And we're gonna relax. Now, instead of feeling the heat right here in the pecs and up here in the lats, you're radiating that heat in a ring around the upper body structure. So we're going to use the whole entire upper body structure for that lift. The other thing that will do is we're going to then press up into a Firebird, full Firebird. So we're working Firebird bow. And then if we press up, we're going to lift from the core. So we're going to drop into the lower transverse abdominis, and we're going to press up and away instead of pressing like, if you see a very beautiful push-up done, you will see that they are anchored here and they're pressing here rather than taking those elbows out and pressing. Now, sometimes you might want to do a press with your fingers turned in to get into the, deeper into a different muscle structure, but it's not generally good for you, and you don't have a lot of control because your shoulders tend to shrug up. All right, woo, getting hot. Let us go back to our flow, and I'll change directions so you can see what's going on the side. So there's multiple things to think about there. I want you to think about your hips swaying in and swaying out. I want you to think about the openness of the chest and the anchor of the shoulders. And I want you to think about this engagement right here in the core. All right? Okay. So 2 fist widths between the knees, heels of the hands, a little bit out in front of the body, soft in the elbows. Let's take our what the fuck lean, push out over. Ooh, and as we work, you'll see I'm feeling that lumbar sacral rhythm as we engage the core and feel that work all the way around the hips. Coming on into center. Let's angry cat it. Continue that lean. Go slow. Let's stretch the lumbar. Woo. And come on into our forearms. Engage the core. Lift the chest. Lift the body up away from the mat. Take that right leg straight out and lift. Let's bring it on down. Take the left leg up and lift. And bring it in. All right, we're going to press up to the hands to tuck the toes and take our runner's stretch. So we're warmed up. Oh, my feet are so tired from climbing up and down a ladder. Woo! Let's press down into a heel. Keep that shoulder shrug and the softness in the elbow. And switch. And let's do that one more time. That feels so good right now. Climbing up a ladder is just rough. All right, let's take down to the knees. Release for child's. Oh yeah, wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, make some fists. We're going to come forward through hands and knees. Let's take our WTF lean. Lean it out. And switch. Coming through, angry cat tuck. Roll back. Stay low in that low back. Let's release it. Come forward to the forearms. Let's take the right leg up. So feel that lift away from the mat, from the chest, rather than driving the elbows into the mat. All right, we're going to take a big inhale and we're going to press up. So I want you to hollow the belly out even more. So exaggerate the lift. And then you should be able to, should on you,
we should be able to rock up into, I got to take that leg down, into that lift from the core rather than driving into the hands.
Now let's do that again. So I'm going to come down to the elbows. Let's practice it without the leg lift, and then we'll talk about the leg lift. So I want you to lift the belly, exaggerate the lift, and then draw up from the belly. Feel that I don't know how else to describe it. It becomes very easy to just rock up to the hands. Now in our two hands and knees in our Firebird position, I want you to stay out of this lean of the hip, but I also don't want you to exaggerate that roll open. And that's because there are poses that I will cue that roll up so that you're not like sinking into the hip. This one is a little bit of I want you to engage the hips toward the mat. So we're going to lift with the belly and try to keep the hips as square as possible. But if you start feeling that twinge right here in the piriformis, it means you're leaning into that hip. And so we also need to draw up and in to keep everything, just stable. Okay. So let's do our lift. Come on down without the leg. So hollow everything up away from the mat, lift from the center of the body up, exaggerate the draw of the belly in. Let's lift up to the hands. All right, we're gonna lengthen this leg out. Now, I want you to engage the core, rotate a little further down, but keep up out of that lean into this hip. You might not be able to get your leg very high, it's okay. I am engaging the core. I'm keeping my hips as anchored down as I can. I'm soft in my elbows. Oh, I'm working the whole entire body. I'm starting to shake. Let's bring it in and release for child's pose. Little rock side to side. Wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, make some fists. Ooh. Come on in to our hands and knees. Let's take our lean. Now you feeling that? I'm feeling that on this right side. And switch. Angry cat tuck. Lean back, nice, slow stretch through the lumbar. Feel that work. Oh, and come forward to the forearms. Okay, we're gonna take that left leg up. So I want you to hollow the body up, lift from the center of the chest to the belly button, and take that leg straight out. Let's bring the knee in, exaggerate the hollow of the belly, take an inhale, and then exhale. Lift the body from the core. All right, adjust that shoulders, stay deep into that lift, and go. So I'm pressing a little deeper into the heels of the hands. I'm squishy in my elbows. I'm anchored so heavily into my core. There is a little arch in my back because I've got a lot of booty. Let's release on back. I am trying to regain my JLo booty after being in bed for 45 days. Come on up. Whew. Let's take a rock on one side. Slow going. All right, we're going to tuck the toes and press up to stretch our calves. Step in a little bit. I am from a descendant long line of, there's no way to describe it other than old lady flat butt. All right, let's come down to hands and knees. We're just going to work ourselves forward. Let's rock and roll those fingers. And make some fists, roll the wrists. All right, we're gonna come onto our backs and take some stretching. I'm gonna grab a quick drink of water. So that's a Firebird bow to Firebird. I am fatigued in my hands, right in the heels of my hands, and feeling a little fatigue in my wrists, but that's what happens when we hold our body weight up, right, in those upper body positions. Let's come on down. Ooh.
and give our knees a little squeeze. I am feeling low back, I'm feeling hips. Take a little rock side to side. All right, we're gonna take the hands to the insides of the knees and press out. How are you feeling in those adductors? They did a lot of support work. Let's take both hands around the right knee, draw that knee up, lengthen out through the left leg. And let's bring that leg up and in. Let's switch and reach out. Oh, feeling those hip flexors too. All right, bring knees in, give them a squeeze. We're gonna take a little figure four. So just cross the right ankle over the left knee. Left hand is gonna slide up behind the knee. Right hand's gonna take that right knee and just give them a little squeeze. Feeling the piriformis. And let's release. We're gonna switch. All right, let's lengthen the legs. We're gonna reach those arms up and away from the body. Take a big stretch. All right, I'm gonna take, oh yeah, I did grab my strap. I'm gonna grab my strap and do a little hamstring work. Now, if you don't have a strap, you can just interlace the fingers low on the back of the leg and press that heel up without the strap. But I'm gonna take a press up with my strap right across the arch of my foot. I'm gonna reach up and slide my hands down so that my elbows are resting on the mat. Give me a little length of leg away from the body first. Push into the heel, soft bend in this knee, and then you just draw your fists toward your shoulders. And let's bring that in and release. Ooh, all right, we're gonna switch sides. Same thing here. If you're interlacing behind the leg, just interlace those fingers in a comfortable position so that your shoulders are relaxed against the mat. I'm gonna slide my hands up on the strap. I'm gonna lengthen the leg away from the body, pressing my elbows and triceps into the mat and then just drawing my fists toward my shoulders. Shorten up on that strap just a little bit in this position. And let's release that down. We'll bring those knees up, give them a little squeeze. Here's where I'm gonna have you take a scan of the body. Where do you need a little extra relief, a little extra stretch? And then we're gonna start working our way into that position that's gonna work for you for Shavasana. I'm actually gonna have to sit up a little bit because the smoke is making me, I'm just struggling for the breath today. Give yourself a wiggle, think about your body temperature. It was a little cool this morning, which was a nice change. But I want you to look and decide where you might want to lay in final relaxation. Maybe add a layer, turn off a light, position for final relaxation. You can take a little seated meditation. All right, you can lay on your back with your legs extended, palms up, arms at your sides. You can bring your feet up on the mat and let your knees rest toward the ceiling. You can tuck a blanket under your knees or fold a blanket under your back. We're going to relax out of our breath. Soft, easy inhale, soft, intuitive exhale.
Unclench the teeth, let the tongue drop away from the roof of the mouth. We're going to bring our attention and awareness into the space of our forehead. Let's let all those tiny little muscles and nerve endings relax. Relaxing the temples toward the floor, soft through the cheeks. Double check in with the jaw and the tongue. Let's relax that face. Down through the strap muscles. And then release the shoulders, let their weight drop toward the floor. Relaxing through the biceps and triceps, through the space of the elbows. Down into the forearms, maybe a little wiggle of fingers, roll the wrists. And then let's relax the upper body toward the mat. We're going to feel the length of the spine from the base of the neck down through the shoulder blades, through the space of the ribs. Maybe a little rock side to side with the hips. Now let the glutes relax. Feel heavy in the torso through the quads. Let's release that energy. Wrap them around the back of the legs, the space of the knees. Either flex the calves or take a little rock side to side, wiggle the toes, roll the ankles, and then rest the lower body into the floor. Pulling our attention and awareness into the state and quality of our thinking. Let's clear anything out of our attention that is popping up on our radar. Holding that silence, and let's move that silence into the awareness of the breath. All right, wherever you are, let's just take a big sign inhale, big deep exhale. Let's wiggle the fingers and roll the wrists. We're going to wiggle the toes and roll the ankles. Lengthen the legs out if you've got them on the floor. We're going to reach those arms out to the side and take a big stretch away from the center of the chest. And then slide those arms up and reach up over the head. Take this big yawning, get out of bed stretch. Releasing those hands back down to the hips. Let's draw one knee up and give it a squeeze. Let's draw the other knee up and give it a squeeze. And just take a few rocks side to side, rolling from one hip, cross to the other. Just moving through, bringing some release to the low back, a little movement back to the body. And then when you're ready, let's rock completely over to one side, resting your head on your arm, taking a moment to notice the support of the floor beneath the body. We're going to slowly work our way back up into comfortable seated position. Let's take a little rock side to side, rocking from side to side. Roll those shoulders, there's that roll. Roll those shoulders back. Feeling the work we did in the upper body. I'm going to tuck my fingertips over the tops of my knees, and then I'm leaning away from one side. And I'm going to switch. Releasing my chin forward, let's just stack shoulders over ribs, ribs over hips, and take a moment to scan the body, checking in, state and quality of the physical form on this end of the practice. Let's pull that attention and awareness into the state and quality of our thinking and check in. We can start moving some of those things in our to-do list back into our focus. Let's give them some elbow room. No pushing, no shoving. And now let's just notice our intuitive rhythm of breath, that soft, easy inhale, soft, silent exhale. It's really what does the lion's share of the work during the day. It helps get us through. We don't really notice it unless it's compromised somehow, especially on a day like today when it's going to be very smoky. Let's release practice. I'm going to blink my eyes open. I'm taking this nice, lovely stretch up toward the ceiling. You do not have to join me if it's not going to feel your jam. Nice big reach up. Letting all of that go, we're going to take a moment to honor our bodies for doing what we asked to do today and all the hard work it does to get just from one end of the week to the other. Some days are easy. Some days, it's a little bit of extra work. That's okay. My name is Julia. If you have any questions, please email me, yoga@jclynn.com. You can check out the website, EFFING, yogablog.com. Calendar's up there. There are some purchase links on different package options or different classes. There's a foam roller workshop coming up. If you're a loyalty sustaining member, you get a discount. I sent that discounted link out if you want to participate in that. Keep an eye out for the fucking yoga book, Yoga for the Rest of Us. All of the benefits, none of the bullshit. That's coming out soon in audiobook, ebook, and hard copy. Let's see. Hey, happy Saturday. It's Saturday at this particular moment in the space-time continuum. Thank you so much for supporting my online gig. I know it's not ideal, but you're keeping me safe, you're keeping you safe, and we are keeping our groove on. Wear your masks, wash your hands, protect yourself, stay safe, stay patient, and work on that grace and kindness, guys. We gotta work on it. I have to work on it. I hope your day treats you as well, if not better, than yoga does. So this yoga. Enjoy. Have a good day.